morning and welcome to Dashcam of a Disabled headed to the doctor. I don't know what else to title it right now. I am just so exhausted. I had my senior and disability services come out and do an assessment yesterday for caretaking hours, and it really made me talk about things that I guess I haven't quite accepted yet with being disabled, because I cried multiple times and I got anxious and talked really fast at times. I just naturally wind myself up. It's just all the trauma I've experienced, and it's so hard to work through. I could not get to sleep last night at all. Even talking with friends, I really do need some mental health services to help me through this trauma that I continue to relive, and not get or accept help when it's being offered is hard, because I want to be able-bodied. At no point have I said I want to stay in bed and be chronically sick. It's not ideal. I'm freaking tired. I got like maybe 2 hours of sleep. Maybe. I haven't even looked at my Fitbit hours because I kind of just don't even want to know. It's like I didn't even sleep. I am freaking tired. And it was really hard to talk about a lot of things yesterday. And it really does affect me with my sleep, and my health, and my healing. I don't know why I have not processed certain things yet. I think it's just really hard to accept when you need help. And the fact that my health system has failed me so hard that I'm just so frozen in fear of it happening again. And every time I have to talk about things that I need help with, it's really difficult to do. It's hard to be vulnerable. But you bear witness to my vulnerability, YouTube followers. I am having a hard time. And it affects my sleep, and it affects my appointments. My mental well-being is never good when you don't get enough sleep. Or when I'm not you. But I hope, I'm relatable. I don't know. This is really hard stuff to deal with, being only 43 years old and not being able to efficiently put on socks and shoes, and trying to limit my range of motion because I have too much range of motion. It's hard to think about all the time. And so I injure myself, or I try to numb myself to the point where I just don't feel anything, because I feel everything. I feel everything. And it's so uncomfortable having a lot of these symptoms. It does not feel good. I really need to blow my nose. Holy cow. This waterworks over here. It would have been really helpful to have some medication to help me with my anxiety, to help me sleep, but I also know how the dangers of taking certain medications together, and it's not ideal. I need to only worry about one thing, my pain or my anxiety, not both. I'm not capable of treating both with medication. I need to learn better coping skills so I can get out of this stuck loop of lack of sleep from talking about my experiences. The more practice and the more I talk about it, the less crying I get. It's just a morning, and I'm already upset because I could not get to sleep. And it's going to affect my emotional and physical and mental well-being all day. And I'm going to have to drive home from my chiropractor appointment to ask my mom to drive me back into town to go to my next doctor appointment, because I don't trust myself with my cognitive functioning today with the lack of sleep. my pain medication will wear off rather quickly. And then I'm just going to be an emotional, short-tempered person that is not easy to deal with. Unless I get to my bed immediately after my primary care doctor appointment. However, I need to get my prescriptions, my immunologist ordered, and I've had 2 pharmacies contact me to try to take care of and fill my medication, and I can't even do that because I'm so caught up in my PTSD and the lack of sleep because that affects my sleeping. Because I was so triggered yesterday. Thought really that I was going to be triggered. I was really calm going into my assessment and relaxed because of the night's anxiety meds the night before to help me sleep. It's when I'm dealing with these situations that I have already used all my anxiety meds that have been allotted to me because I am dealing with so much emotions that I don't know how to handle. Hormones are so out of whack when I don't get enough sleep. I know this about myself, and I know this. It's a difficult time. I need to spin so bad. I have nowhere to spin into. I can't. Oh, there's my tissue. Oh, I'm gonna swallow that nastiness for no reason. I have my nose draining from my sinus rinse. I have feelings coming out my eyeballs. I have feelings coming out my eyeballs, and it's not comfortable. I don't like it very much, but it really does help me express and let the emotions flow through me rather than internalize these feelings and hold these tears in. It makes it so much worse later because it's cumulative. I can't say that word. I can't speak right now. Another word I can I have to sound it out, but I have to look at it in order to sound it out because of my dyslexia, my neurodiverse brain. But it helps to feel those feelings, even if they are uncomfortable. It is better to feel your feelings than to be a zombie and a robot and internalize everything, and it will catch up to you in many physical forms with sickness and illness if you do not feel your feelings. It is okay to not be okay. I don't know how many times I have to tell people this. It is okay. I had to help therapy 2 of my friends last night, and I got some of my therapy in, but they don't have a me to help them feel better. I need a me to help me feel better. I'm probably the best friend for many people because of how comforting I can be, and I have a lot of the right words to say to help people feel better. I don't know what that magic is. I just have this magic. I don't even know what to call it. My superpower. But it doesn't help me when I need the therapy too. And they can only be so present for me. It's difficult. I'm very sensitive. And I'm going through it so hard right now. But it's okay. I'm thankful to be feeling feelings rather than be the alternative. I really do. As uncomfortable as this is, and how hard it is to be vulnerable, let alone make a video and post it to social media, but it's so therapeutic. It really helps me. And you guys get to bear witness to what it's like to be vulnerable and learn how to cope and deal with feelings. It's okay to have feelings. I prefer to have feelings than no feelings. I do. I don't want to be a robot. I don't want to be like everybody else with microaggressions and all these other new terminology that has came out for mental health. Mental health matters, people. Mental health matters so much. You don't want to end up sick like me. to your mental health. It causes so many other mental health disorders, and I have so much overlap because of being on the spectrum and being neurodiverse. We're just so much more susceptible to trauma and PTSD and complex PTSD. It is so difficult. And to get people to actually care. People don't care about others these days. It's sad. It's really, really sad. Everybody's all about themselves. And they're so driven by greed and power and trying to be emotionless. Why? This is not the way society should be going. We should not be put in fight or flight responses from the littlest of things. This is not extra. This is not normal. This is extra. This is a lot of PTSD and a lot of me not talking about it for so long. I'm tired of holding it in. I cannot hold it in anymore. And this is what happens when you just internalize everything and try to be a robot and you try to fit in and mask and you try to look normal because you don't want to be treated like you're an invalid invalid. You want to be able-bodied when you're sick and injured and don't feel good. You want nothing more than to be able-bodied. There's a lot of ableism in this country and all over the world. It's really sad. It's really sad how society has turned on each other and the politics and all the things, the overstimulation of all this information all at once, every single day, every single moment, at the touch of your fingertips. You can know anything at any point, and it's not helping the society regain knowledge and learn and grow. We're turning into mental cases and addicted and homeless and not dealing with emotions and seeking help when we need it the most because we're so frozen in fear with our fight or flight response. There's a lot of fleers and a lot of fighters and a lot of people that do both, and then they just get so worn down they can only do one. Mental health is tough, but in order to be happy, you have to deal with your emotions. You cannot be happy until you deal with stuff. And until you deal with things, you are going to have microaggressions, sickness, addictions, and not good mental health at all. And people that want to isolate and get away from society because they're so disgusted and tired and angry at how society has turned on them. And people that we are supposed to trust turning on us and gaslighting us, making us feel like it's all in our heads, and it's not all in our heads. And these labels really cause such stigma and people not accepting themselves for who they are. People don't want to know or accept that they have problems, or there's like terrible genetics that you have no control over, especially when you want to try and overcompensate and become so selfish and narcissistic because you don't know how to cope with your emotions. It's so environmental, and of course the things I watch before I fall asleep are not very helpful for me to fall asleep. I admit that 100%. When I can't turn my mind off, I try to redirect it onto something else. But if it's something else that's not super positive, it's not going to make it easy to fall asleep. I'm going to think about those other problems on top of my own, and not just redirecting or rewiring my brain, which is what I really need and what I want and what I currently am working at now and the future and moving forward. There's always more time, and there's always, I can't say that, there's not always more time. Life is short. Life is very short, and it sucks to deal with being vulnerable and people not believing you and telling people you're crazy. It's like, yeah, I know I'm off my rocker at times. I admit, full stop. I have meltdowns like none other, and temper tantrums like none other that I've had since I was a child. I used to throw myself onto the floor, in the middle of the floor, embarrass the hell out of my mother, and she did not know how to handle me. She has, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. She's got her own set of issues, and that's not my problem. However, what is my problem is her not knowing how to deal with me, because I don't know how to communicate very efficiently all the time, especially when I'm overstimulated and I'm having a meltdown. There is no getting me out of a meltdown really at all. I have to have medication to get me out of a full-blown meltdown, because I don't know how to get out of it without it. I've used it as a crutch for so many years, but I am tired of using medication as a crutch. I don't want medication. I want it, but I don't want it. It's a catch-22. It's the only thing I know that works, but I tend to get used to and using it as a crutch because I'm so scared of having a meltdown. I get into this mindset of I fear a meltdown, so I'm going to take it ahead of time. I've been taught not to chase my pain. That's not what I do. That's not what healers are supposed to do, is chase pain around. And this is what I've been having to do for years because of the VA, is chase my pain. And all I want to do is get answers and get to the bottom of things. So I don't use medication as a crutch. It is not the answer. It is a very good tool for my toolbox, but I need to learn how to not use it and deal with my feelings and know how to cope with my feelings better. And there's so many tools, but I need reminded. I need reminded consistently about my tools, my toolbox. My ADHD will focus on the wrong thing and hyper-focus. I don't focus so much on ruminating thoughts anymore. But if I can't numb myself enough, I feel too much, and I don't know how to handle all the too much, because I've used medication for a crutch for way too long. It's a great tool, and I fully believe in it. However, there's a fine line in me becoming dependent on it and using it as a crutch to be more of a detriment than it is a benefit, because I can tend to go overboard, because I'm just so frozen and I am so traumatized by the treatment I have received and all the gaslighting. So the majority of my experiences during COVID were negative, because I have struggled so hard just getting any help, and that is part of my problem. I will procrastinate on getting help because I have been made to feel like I am not important enough to have help. I have been conditioned and brainwashed by doctors for over 10 years that I am basically helpless. I cannot help myself. I have been so brainwashed into I am not capable, and then they start to take away my medication because they used it for so long to try and just shove people aside with medication. They don't want to help people find answers. They don't want to shell out the money to people to get the real help. They would rather throw medication at you, get you dependent on them, and then pull it from underneath your feet and make it so you have even more trauma before you're even ready to deal with it. And so you repress your feelings and you don't feel like dealing with it anymore. You're fed up that you just get so angry, you're like flipping them off, and then I become a problem because of my behavior. It's bad. It's really bad. It's a detriment. And I have been so frozen in fear for so long. I am still stuck in my trauma with being able to move forward, with calling doctors, finding doctors that can help me. I have just given up all hope because of all the billing issues and being sent to collections I still need to deal with. I'm still traumatized from it, and I'm still procrastinating on dealing with it. And it's not getting me anywhere, frozen in fear. And I'm tired of my emotions being controlled by my fear because of all the trauma I've experienced. So I am ready to get help, but I need help getting help because I am still struggling hard. I'm not through the other side yet, but I'm getting there, and it's progress, and I'm learning, and I'm helping myself, and I'm so stinking happy that I can work through my feelings and start talking about it without crying. There's still parts that I cry on, and that's okay, because it's helping me be able to learn and practice and get to the point where I don't cry about it. But holding it in is the worst thing anybody can do. And bear witness, you guys are. This is what happens. You gotta get traumatized and gaslit and basically just conditioned because you're so used to it because of the length of time that you're in that position. And it sucks. And I have a hard time with the people that I love and care about experiencing trauma too. But it helps me to understand how other people deal with their trauma so I can try and help deal with my own trauma. And the more people I can talk about and reach out to, and the more people that can connect with me and relate to me, really helps me feel a lot better, like so much better, knowing that I'm not the only one that's dealt with this. I know I'm not the only one. It happens daily and by the minute. I mean, that's why there's the suicide hotline for veterans. The government drives veterans there, seriously. The way that veterans get treated in some states and in some hospitals is so sad. It's so awful. And it sucks that I had that awfulness follow me from my original VA system that I got so traumatized from, that eventually the one that I escaped from, the one that I went to, that was so helpful in getting me all the help I really needed, ended up turning out to be just as bad as the first place that traumatized me was the VA. I would rather pay thousands of dollars to deal with more trauma from the VA. I still can't get over how bad they treated me. I'm trying so hard. Nobody deserves to be treated like how I've been treated. I don't repeat. No one deserves this. No one deserves to deal with this kind of trauma. And I feel so bad for other people that do. Because it sucks so hard. It sucks so hard to have these pent up emotions about it. Because of not being able to feel like I get justice from it. I have so much anger that it's just I wish I could just sue everybody. I do. I wish I could just sue everybody for all this emotional distress that I deal with regularly from the years of abuse. I can't escape it. It's a part of who I am now. But I want to use it to my advantage. To get help now. It is so helpful to talk about. I just turned the wrong way to get to that chiropractor. This affects me so hard. Just trying to get to my doctor appointment. I'm late already, I couldn't get to sleep. I couldn't get in the shower. I couldn't get out the door on time like usual. Thank the Lord that I have communicated. My chiropractor knows me so well, and he's able to help my physical symptoms that are getting pulled from the stress and there's good stress and there's bad stress. Stress can be good and it can be beneficial and it's motivating for me, but there are times I'm just distressed. Distress is the bad stress, and that's why I'm crying and distressed, because of the thoughts and what I'm talking about, my topic, my content. This is hard, but I'm glad to do it. This is what I need to do to get through it, and carry not necessarily trauma. It's always going to be part of me. I'm sick. It's affected me so hard that my immune system does not respond to certain things. My genetics is not good. It does not look good ahead of me in 20 years from now, 40 years from now. I have to be proactive now if I'm going to at least stay at this and maintain this level of pain and not make it worse. But I can't help it. It's going to progress. It's highly degenerative, and I've already degenerated my body so hard with the military for 9 years. My body is shot. My body is freaking done. And at least I have my mental capacity for the majority of the time. But this is just one of those kind of days. I did not get enough sleep. I had my trauma affect me so hard yesterday. I don't have any anxiety meds to help me go to sleep. Because I'm not trying to abuse the system and I'm not trying to use it as a crutch. I need to learn how to fall asleep without it. And I'm not always going to have it. And I cannot rely on medication to help me sleep. I need to learn how to deal with my feelings, calm my brain down, because I naturally ramp myself up in order to function. And all it does is make me sicker. My trauma controls my physical symptoms. And it sucks. But I'm happy that I have a chance and an opportunity to help myself. As much as I'm frozen in fear, I am motivated to help myself, and I'm motivated to not feel this way anymore. It's not what I want to feel, but I need to feel it in order to get through it. So I'm at my appointment. Peace out. I'll update y'all later if I have the energy. Probably not. It's taken forever to post yesterday's video, so I hope y'all have a great day. I'm about to feel a lot better.